It's been some time since I've went off on a furious rant, but I'll tell you, man, I've got one coming today. This has been building up for about 24 hours now. Is there anything in the comment section that is more insufferable than someone who comes after a man has made a purchase of something that he likes, has researched and enjoyed, and the comment says something like, you know what, that sucks, you should have got X. Now, I was having some troubles with the forks the other day on the skid steer, and I admitted from the beginning that I had never even sat in the seat of one of these. These things have a learning curve, of course, like everything else. So I shared that with you, and because I always try to keep it real. If things go wrong or don't work out, I share that. I'm never the guy that tries to portray myself better than I am or something I am not. I think honesty and integrity is part of the channel, is a critical element and always has been. But I'll tell you, man, these guys get my goat. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a good friend, and you like to shoot and hunt and do things together. Let's say he's really into CZs. Now, you personally wouldn't want a CZ. You think that they're pretty terrible, ugly, and not anything you would ever buy. But he likes them, right? So he gives you a call and he says, hey, come on over. I'm really excited. I've been saving up for some time and I got the CZ of my dreams that I always wanted. You show up there, you take a look at it and you say, well, that sucks. You should have got X. Now, anyone who says something like that obviously was not raised right. So let Papa Wranglerstar drop some learning on you. That is bad manners. It's bad manners. There's a lot more going on than meets the eyes when it comes to equipment, in my particular case. The particular tractor or implement is only half of it. When we're talking about heavy equipment, if you've ever owned it or worked on it or been around it, you know that there's a lot of maintenance. And 50% of the equation with this sort of thing is parts availability. For all of you who would say that I should have bought a JCB because it has a side entrance door, I would never buy a JCB for one reason. Not because it's not a good machine, not because it maybe have a better entry point than the Caterpillar has, it's because it doesn't have a parts network here. I would have to be a fool to buy a JCB and try to hunt and source down parts from a dealership that I don't even know where one is. Same thing with Kubota. You know, nothing is perfect. You know, people say, well, you should have got a Kubota, you should have got a JCB, you should have got this and that. Well, all machines have their problems, their weakness and their strengths. You know, I could make the argument that, well, I get in that Kubota that has some antiquated old suspension and it doesn't ride as good as the Cat. You know, it's all about give and take. That's not really the point. The point is, it's bad manners, it's annoying, nobody likes for someone to come up and Captain Hindsight says, you should have done this, you should have done that. I think that that's poor manners, and I'm going to have a zero tolerance policy in the comments. You may have noticed, but I have a zero strike policy for ignorance, meanness, and foolishness in the comments. Do it once and you get a ban. People, oh, free speech. No, not my free speech. You have no free speech here. This channel is run like a dictatorship. I am the supreme commander. I sit on top of the pile and I dictate and I say how things are. And if you don't like that, then you can go watch other channels. There's a lot of good content out there, and better yet, I recommend you go start your own channel, and then you'll be a little bit more compassionate towards those of us who have to deal with it. Now, I know this always rubs people the wrong way. Oh, you know, but I read the comments. I spend a significant amount of time in the comments and reading and answering. I'm not one of those content creators that just ignores everyone or doesn't take to heart things that are said. I literally take things to heart when you guys write them, and I take suggestions, and the channel actually is moved and I go in different directions from different ideas and things. Or if I'm doing something and I'm starting to get negative feedback, you know, I'll curtail that and I'll change that. But please stop doing that and don't do that anymore. It's hurtful to people. It insults their intelligence, as if I don't have the intelligence or the ability to pick out what is the best fit for me, and someone who doesn't know me, who's never probably owned a tractor or even ran one tells me I should do this and should do that. Check yourself. Discretion is the better part of valor. Just because you can lord over someone or you can point out the obvious when I made the choice to share it with you doesn't make you smart. Sometimes folks think that if they're safety sallies or they can point out the obvious that it makes them look intelligent. It doesn't. It just makes you look like a safety sally, and there's nothing more insufferable than that. Why do I choose Caterpillar? A little bonus footage here. We got to get it to that 8 minutes to get that sweet mid-roll ad money. So why I chose Caterpillar is really primarily, I would say 60% of it is the dealer network. We've got a really good dealer that's not too far from here. They can run parts up. I can get anything that I need, and it's close. It's the closest one. That's really a big thing for me. And I would probably recommend, you guys will say, well, what would you prefer? I'm getting into a homestead show. Should I go with Kubota? Should I go with Yanmar? Should I go with Cat? I would say, for the most part, all of the newer machines, all of them are really, really nice, and you probably be happy with them. I just really can't think of anything out there that's junk. There's things that happen from time to time, and some bad design will get out there, but it's usually not a deal-breaking type of thing. What's really a deal-breaking thing is when you can't get parts. For example, my neighbor who runs a dairy farm, they have a JCB backhoe or some sort of thing. It's got a leaking cylinder. They can't get parts for it because it's made in England, and with that. Now, with the supply chains breaking down, that's a serious consideration that a guy needs to take. So when I'm looking at the long haul and longevity, and what piece of equipment can I get that's going to give me the best chance to keep it running and get access to parts? Not only that, but there's also the expertise. How many mechanics in this country can work on Caterpillar versus something that's less known like a JCB? I mean, it's got to be what, 10 to 1, 20 to 1? I ran into that problem with that International Harvester, that big TD7. I pulled that transmission out of that thing twice. Couldn't get parts. No one knew how to work on it. No dealerships around. The whole thing was a huge debacle, and I ended up selling it for scrap. Had I bought a Caterpillar D7 instead, I'd probably still have it today. And it probably would have been running because I would have had access to parts. I would have had access to expertise, guys that know how to work on them, because it's just common. I don't like exotic. I like things to be pretty simple. I like things to be that not going to give me trouble and just not get in my way to do the job that I want to do. So why do I buy Caterpillar? I don't think Caterpillar is a bad machine at all. I think all things considered, I think they're the best. And their dealer network is really good too. So that's my rant. If you're doing that, stop it. I'll see you guys on the next video. Oh, and one more thing. If you complain about free speech from this video, I'll ban you too. Why? Because I'm a petulant child.